special edition of Hypercritical. Spencer won't be joining us. It's going to be... I'm sorry. It's too perfect. He's literally sitting in your chair. Look how cute he is. Come here.
No. Thought you were gonna do this episode with Triple so I could go play Baldur's Gate.
Oh my God. You'd actually be really happy, wouldn't you?
No.
I can't wait to do a supercut of cat interruptions.
Okay.
Go this way.
No, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't
good.
think I want to. I want to go.
I have to like flash the camera. No.
I want to sit on that laptop. I think.
No,
I really
no.
want to.
Whew. Okay. Here we go.
Hi, welcome to Hypercritical, the podcast where one person talks about Baldur's Gate 3 and the other person.
No. Video games taking over my life, especially since we're like stuck inside.
Mm-hmm.
We are literally trapped in our homes right now. There was a literal red flag alert that I had to Google because I've never heard of that in Texas. And apparently it's like combination of it's really fucking hot.
Yeah.
There's no humidity and there's high enough winds that there is a concern that there's going to be like fires.
Yeah, it's just dry and hot. It's like I looked at the weather app the other day and it was like low of 86, high of 106 for 2 weeks straight. It like doesn't fluctuate at all.
Well, and I was looking really specifically at the overnight temperatures to see like when could I take a walk?
Yeah.
And I looked
It's at like 5 a.m.
like 5 or 6
Yeah.
a.m. were my options.
That's when it
was
gets
like,
down to 84.
No,
and
86.
Yeah.
Then it goes up to like 90. It was 98 degrees at midnight. Man, you want to rile up people that live in Texas or Arizona right now. You ask them, how's it going? You know what they're going to say? It's fucking hot. We're drinking gin and tonics.
I have something stuck in my teeth and I kind of have to go take care of it.
Okay.
So keep talking about how hot it is.
I mean, it's really not a good idea. But I will because I have things to say about it. I went to the store today and literally like I wasn't mad at anyone. I wasn't being grumpy, but I could feel my temperament change just because of how hot it is. I'm like, I'm sweating everywhere. I have to do laundry. I have to wash all of these clothes again. I have to shower when I get home. Like everyone should be forgiven for being an asshole right now because it's like literally impossible to avoid. So if you're dealing with anyone in Texas right now or anywhere, and I'm sorry, LA, love you. It's not hot there. I was talking to we were at a hotel. We went to LA last week and she was really nice, but she's like, oh, where are you in from? I was like, Dallas. She goes, oh, cool. How's it there? I'm like, it's really hot. I'm not looking forward to going back. Yeah. And she goes, hotter than here?
It was like 79 degrees.
I was like, literally walk away from me right now. It gets up to like 92 with a breeze, like a cool breeze. I've got that voice and I can feel how like riled up I am. I'm just gonna.
It is funny when you're in LA or in like I remember a long time ago we went to New York and it was a really hot summer.
And that's a different story.
I think it was like high 80s and we're like, that's the low. It doesn't get lower than this in Texas right now.
Yeah,
you know, like,
right. New York is when they're like, oh, it's hot. It's 95 today. It's fair because it's different in that city.
Yeah.
There's trash everywhere. Someone I know there told me.
All of LA smells like trash, so.
Not trash. LA smells like the areas in LA that we were spending time in smelled like the inside of a porta potty.
Yeah.
We have not done LA right, and I would really love some guidance because the only place that we like so far is El Segundo.
Which is like
that's like literally
which is like saying that you like Frisco. You know what I mean? Like it's like
I mean, I know there's a lot to LA. It's not one thing, but so
LA
far I'm like, I want to go home.
LA is such a big place, and like coming from Dallas, it's weird because, you know, we experience this here, and I think that's why I don't like it, is because it's like Dallas plus one. in the sense that like you can't get to anything
Oh God, plus 10. It's
without
harder to get
driving.
around.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like
I meant the plus 1.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna increase that number.
without driving, you can't get anywhere. And so you end up spending, either you have to rent a car or you end up spending like $150 a day on Uber. Or you sit in your little island where you can't get to anything else.
Yeah. And everywhere in LA takes 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If you know that movie quote, put it in the comments. Which is true though, and that equates to like a $40 Uber. So I don't know. Anyway, we don't have to vent about LA. I know that it's a cool place, but like Jesus, it's exhausted. But then we came home and our other air conditioning was broken.
Yeah, we came up. Well, we learned the day before.
And our house sitter was like, "We're leaving."
Yeah, we learned the day before that the air conditioning stopped working, and I was like, and that's always terrible because like when you have somebody at your house and you're like,
There's nothing I can do. I'm really sorry. The cats are happy as clams because they like when it's hot.
And then like we also just by nature don't plan anything, so we were always like, oh well, we fixed the air conditioning, it's done. There's no reason to make.
Why wouldn't the other one check?
Yeah.
It broke like 10 days later.
It was like the capacitor exploded.
Still.
So like that's something that could just happen. It's not like you can look and check and be like, oh, this capacitor is going to go bad.
I cannot hear the word capacitor without thinking of Back to the Future.
But like weeks before we left, we were like, we should really, because like our ceiling fan in our bedroom has a remote control. It doesn't have a switch. And so like weeks ago, we like noticed that the battery was dead and we are like, we should get a new battery for this. Yeah, we should. They're only like $3. We should probably do that.
This is the most us story
we just
ever.
didn't do anything.
We literally like, I want to start recording every single time one of us says, we really should take care of that. We really should do that. Well, anyway.
I got to play Baldur's Gate.
Let's wait till it's a problem and then we'll do something about it.
So yeah, I felt really bad because I'm like, I don't even have a fan. I'm sorry.
You can go home.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You can get like feed the cats and go home. You're good. But
so that was not a fun trip. It was fun in some ways.
Yeah.
Like 2 parts were really fun. One was El Segundo on Sunday. We went to Wreck-It. We did strongman stuff.
Went to Wreck-It Gym. That's run by Martins Licis.
Oh my God, he's even wearing the Martins shirt.
World's Strongest Man,
2019.
2019.
Rogue Invitational winner, 2021.
I think so.
Feels like, yeah.
But yeah, we got to go do like a strongman class with him, and you know, when you have it's just cool. You know, like we could do a whole episode talking about that,
Yeah.
but.
I'm laughing at the joke I made.
Yeah.
I haven't worked out in so long that I just was like, you know what? I'm not up for the strongman stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just not feeling it. I'm just going to like support and I'm just going to hang
Yeah.
out. I'm going to record stuff. No big deal. And luckily, like typically they're the type of people who are very just like, come on, jump in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, please God, don't let that happen to me this time. And for whatever reason, I only got asked a couple times as far as like, you working out? I was like, no. Cool.
Okay, yeah.
No
cool.
one really,
No
you
problem.
know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
didn't, which is fine. And then we left and I was like, I was wearing like yoga pants and like a baggy t-shirt because it was like an Arnold shirt, like
Yeah.
the shirt from Twins, Born to Be Bad.
Yeah.
And we left and I was like, oh, they probably think I'm pregnant. I think we talked about this on a recent podcast where I was like, as I'm getting older, like it used to be when I was
Yeah.
in my 20s, I would gain weight in like certain areas, but never really my stomach. And now that I'm in my 30s, it's like immediately. And I just, TMI.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could
Yeah.
totally see them being like, I don't know, it looked like a
Yeah.
little.
Then
So that's
as we're
great.
leaving, they're like, well, next time you come back, you'll probably have a little guy with you, right? Huh?
Oh my God.
Shannon-
I would literally kill myself.
just walks
Not
into
literally, but you
traffic.
know, Jesus. Anyway, the other thing that was fun. Sorry if you want to.
But I mean, it was just cool. Like the one thing I want to say about doing that is just cool because Martins is like
The nicest person on the planet.
super nice. He likes you're you know I don't we're not friends really. I like to imagine we are, but he seems to like
That's cute.
like connecting with people and
Oh,
like
yeah, I agree
knowing
with that.
you know like he wants to know everybody's name and all this other stuff and like
He's a good coach too.
he's
like
also
excited.
a like he's known to be a like technician in lifts. You know, like
yeah, right.
he does like there's a lot of strong men that are like just brute force, like whatever it takes to get it up. He's the type of
I'm sorry, that's such
the
a
weight. Side note, we're gonna derail again really quick. Side note, this is a short one. On my stream, twitch.tv/Hegman.
Okay, Reddit rules are about to be enacted.
I have a like point redeems, and one of them is a fart noise.
Oh.
And it makes me laugh every
Have you
single
told
time.
David?
No.
You should.
Well, I mean,
My brother.
he doesn't.
He loves
He doesn't
farts.
watch the stream, so.
He has his whole life.
Um,
Oh man, that's funny.
but yeah, so like Martins is a technician in lifts, and like he's also a really good trainer, and so it's just cool to watch him like train. There were like a few women there that you know, smaller build women that were doing sandbag lifts and log lifts and stuff, and like watching him coach somebody from being like, oh, I don't even know if I can pick that sandbag off the ground, and then 15 minutes later they're like getting it up to their shoulder, which is a lot more difficult.
I do love watching that dynamic because you're right. Like he's not, I don't know, like if you didn't know him and someone was like, or you're walking past the gym and you walk in and you realize that he was world's strongest man, there is definitely an immediate like, oh. But then you start working with him and you don't even ask him to like help you with anything. It's not uncomfortable. Like it's like you're in his house. Yeah. And you're right. He just like goes to every single person and he makes sure like, whose turn is it? We're not skipping anyone, are we? And like, he's so big on the technique and helping people. So it is nice to be part of it sometimes.
So that's like the number one reason that I would go back to LA.
Oh, I would definitely, but like, I think one of the takeaways is like the West Side. Yeah. And someone I was working with, excuse me, recently on planning a dinner in LA, she was like, she lives in San Francisco area, so she knows LA as well. And she's like, my strong preference is the West Side of LA. I'm like, okay. So the really good dinner we had at Mother Wolf was close to like Hollywood Boulevard. And that's
the really good
definitely dinner. East. Oh, the best dinner we had was near where we stayed, which is like near downtown. Definitely on the east side. But anyway, when we go back, I would love to just like stay near the water, like Manhattan Beach or El Segundo. Yeah.
El Segundo is just so far. It's like south of the airport, so it's just hard to get to anything else. But
speaking of people who are like celebrity level, well known, the other reason we were in LA was one of my favorite bands has an album that just hit its like 10-year anniversary. Yeah. So they did initially it was a one night only concert, just literally playing the album start to finish. And we've experienced that before when Incubus came through town and just did Make Yourself, which was so cool. And I think it must have been an anniversary thing because honestly, for a lot of people, Make Yourself is their favorite album that Incubus has. And like, my God, they're up to like, I don't even know how many albums.
Are they still making albums?
I think so.
Really? I don't think I've listened to one since like we were in college.
I feel like Light Grenades, Curl After the Murder era, they started to lose me a little bit. And not because I don't think they're talented or anything. It just kind of faded away. But I also think it's a radio thing. Yeah. Like when we first like fell in love with those bands, you kind of had to be exposed to them. And now you have all this choice. And I listen to older music more than I listen to new stuff. What?
I'm just looking at him cleaning us.
So my sister and I are big fans, and she bought tickets. She got in line to buy tickets like the minute she could. Somehow she got tickets. I was like, if you get tickets, let's go. We'll go for one night. Yeah. Wreck-It came into the picture, so we went for a few days. But we've met the band a few times, and they're like the nicest, coolest, kindest people. So it's just funny how you can get so surprised. Yeah. It's nice. We're drinking gin and tonics. This is not something we normally drink, but it's definitely like a summertime thing. Yeah. Yours is technically soda.
A gin and soda.
Soda? You don't like something about tonic? Quinine?
Quinine? Yeah. It gives me like a weird aftertaste in my mouth. I'm not a big fan of it.
Fair enough. But yeah, I'm still working on the ratios on G&Ts because I make them too strong.
Yeah. We had a warm up one because we were gonna record this podcast like 3.5 hours ago, maybe 4 hours ago, we walked down and we like looked at the table setup and it was like this blinding shaft of light that was like cutting right here.
So funny. Yeah, I sat down and you're like, okay, ready. I was like, no, look. There's like a huge shadow on my face, and then like you would have been boiling.
I would have been baking, and also just like a dark shadow because it would have been so bright behind me. But
so here we are, round 2 of the drinks, and they're not as strong.
We can't afford curtains, so
we can't afford anything. So last week we did part 1 of best movies. It's a bracket fight. So
this is part 2 of the bracket.
I'll see if I can
Last
recap.
week, do you have it still saved?
Yeah, I was really careful. I kept it.
Nice.
Oh. Go on.
Last week I don't remember any of the movies that we talked about.
Yeah, I'll recap really quick.
We'll put it up on screen. Just say who's in the running still, because we got all the way down to.
I'm like afraid to hit anything. We got down to Groundhog Day versus The Prestige.
And I think we picked the Prestige. Nice.
We ended up with Inception. So now we're on the other side.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Inception. We're on the new side now.
Yeah.
And it's not loading, so I can't tell. I hate when this happens. Inception versus LA Confidential. I never saw that movie.
LA Confidential? Mm-hmm. Yeah, me neither. I feel like this has been the discussion we've had with all of them.
I think that the rule really should be, and maybe that's, I don't know. It's like if you haven't seen it, you can't vote for it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you knew enough about it, like if somebody, I don't know.
People say Citizen Kane's one of the best movies ever made, and no one gets it at the same time.
Rosebud.
I'm going Inception, obviously.
Yeah, I think Inception's a good movie.
Inception is an amazing movie. Great cast.
Yeah. I like, what's his name?
Christopher Nolan?
No, the other guy. The actor. Who's
Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, one of the supporting characters.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Nope, the other one.
Don't say it when you know, because there's so many now. Why do I keep trying to say Tom Brady? Who am I thinking of?
I know, that's who
the English guy with the lips.
Yeah.
Who is Bane.
Yeah.
God bless, what's his name? Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
And that sounds like a clothing designer, so that sounds wrong.
I like
love
Tom.
him.
I like Tom Hardy's cool.
He's amazing.
He's a cool guy.
He's such a good actor. Marion Cotillard is on it.
She's on it. Cool. But I like Tom Hardy. I think he's cool.
Me too. The World's End with Simon Pegg. I never saw that.
Let me see that.
Against Drive.
Yeah.
Did you see Drive?
No.
I did. And it's one of those movies that I feel like is good. And I do like Ryan Gosling, and it was like directed well, good production, all of that. But it was kind of just like, I don't know, were there too many people on the internet who were like, oh, so moved. It was so deep. I'm like, is it? I don't know. So I feel a little irritated by other people's reactions. I don't think it's like a fantastic movie.
I don't remember World's End.
I feel like I haven't even heard of this.
End of the
I do
world.
like Simon Pegg movies.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Sure. This is not going well so far. I remember hating this movie. Train Spotting. It was one of those movies I watched too young. And I feel like there's like a dead baby in the crib or something, right? It's like a heroin addiction overdose situation. So that's why I hate that movie, which is so unfair because I can't remember anything else about it. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Let's get Train Spotting out of here. So 12 Angry Men versus Whiplash. I don't know Whiplash. I know 12 Angry Men, but I've never seen it. It's like an older movie. I think it's like a jury situation. And when I did an event in London years ago, the icebreaker question was, what's your favorite movie?
Yeah.
And someone said 12 Angry Men. So that's why I feel pretty confident in voting for it.
I wonder if we're going to get through this whole bracket very quickly because we
I kind of think we might.
Of the movies.
I got something to say about this one.
Okay.
Birdman versus Hot Fuzz.
Ooh.
Birdman is exactly, I feel the same way about Birdman as I do about Drive.
Yeah, no, Birdman's one of those movies that was like critically acclaimed and everybody was talking about it. And you're like, it's just a weird fucking movie. You know
Was
what
it
I
just
mean?
the way they shot it? Like, what was so special?
I think it was the weirdness of it. You know, like it had that like
I hate that as an
cult
excuse for
quality
something
to it, like that appealed to people that like movies. You know,
Yeah.
like the way it was filmed, you didn't really know what was going on most of the time.
Which I don't like. That's not
Yeah.
enjoyable as a movie watching experience. I don't get it.
It was, and I guess
Why is he sleeping on the record?
don't- he, because what was he actually like some sort of weird superhero guy?
I just remember there was like a
Or was-
bird following him.
Yeah.
And there was like a rooftop scene, and I was like, "He's gonna jump." I
Was
don't
he
know.
like hallucinating, or did he actually have wings?
I thought hallucinating, but it's been so long.
And I
since
guess that's
watched
like
it.
the point of the movie. You know, like, I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe. And like, yeah, you're watching it. You're like, is he just like a washed up superhero, or is he?
Yeah.
And I guess like in the era of superhero movies, it was kind of like, you know, unique in that sense that it was a totally different thing. But, and I think it was also Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah, who I love. I think he's amazing.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like that was at the time. I'm not sure. I'm probably totally wrong because I usually am. I feel like that was like, oh, Michael Keaton's back.
Doing a weird
He's
movie.
doing a movie.
Yeah,
like, I don't think he
true.
had been in anything recently. Did he also play the Vulture in the Spider-Man movie?
I don't know.
Is my phone here? Yeah, here it is. It's in my pocket.
It's in my pocket.
Because that'd be funny if he was the Birdman.
Oh my god, your foot moved just now. It really scared me. We have a lot of little like geckos in the house recently. Oh, I thought maybe one was on.
In
my
Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, it was Michael Keaton. He played
Ah,
a avian villain.
an avian villain. I like it.
But yeah, I mean, it was okay.
I'm gonna say Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz is a fantastic
Such a great movie.
I love that movie.
So good.
They're like in that small town, and they're just the YARP guy dealing with like, and it's like some weird cult stuff going on at the end, and like, it's such a good movie. Simon Pegg again. He's
Yeah.
great.
Jacob's Ladder
Okay.
versus Donnie Darko.
Didn't we already disqualify Donnie Darko?
It
Or did
came
we
up-
just
no,
talk
it
about
just came
Donnie
up in
Darko?
conversation.
And again, I don't think it's a terrible movie.
I don't either. I just
And
I was
don't-
too young
and,
to
like,
get it.
And yeah, like my mom texted me last week and was giving us a hard time.
She
a little
texted you
bit.
too?
Yeah.
She texted me and she goes, "I like Donnie Darko."
And like I don't
Sorry.
I don't dislike it, and I don't like, you know, I'm not as a blanket statement saying everybody that likes Donnie Darko is wrong. I just think like what I was referring to was like in high school, the kids that you were in high school with that were like, I love Donnie Darko.
Exactly. And this
Yeah.
this is an interesting like point of the conversation that we're having about what makes movies great and what
Yeah.
doesn't. And it's funny how much of an influential factor other people's hype
Right.
of a movie. So everyone's freaking out right now about Barbie and Oppenheimer. And I
Yeah.
haven't seen either one,
No.
and I'm going to. But I always ask the question like, who, and I don't mean this the way it sounds, who cares so much about the guy behind the Manhattan Project?
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand why everyone was so excited about this biopic. Is that how you say it? Biopic?
I don't know.
I think it's biopic. But I don't know. It was just, I guess they're like, oh, but the cast. I'm like, it's a Christopher Nolan movie. Of course the cast is
it's
good.
got a crazy good cast. I think it's based on a like anime or something.
I feel like you're fucking with me.
No, I'm serious.
It's based off of a person's life
No,
and
it
history.
is, but I may be wrong, but is
It's obsessed with anime and video games.
I'm not obsessed with anime.
God, I wish you were wearing one of your anime shirts right now.
I thought it was based off like a Japanese.
I never heard anything about that. And I really don't mean to like rag on that movie. I'm sure it's fantastic. I just did not. It's like, are there no other good movies out? So people are just excited that something from Christopher Nolan is coming and it's got like,
I'm totally wrong.
Okay, really quick
editors,
side
could you
note.
scrub
I
off
have
from
been
the, record?
sick, so I'm very sorry about
Yeah.
the throat clearing. Like I am I'm like Sarah Jessica Parker in Family Stone. I am a throat clearer, but this is especially annoying. So
Okay.
just sorry,
Yeah.
I'll just keep.
Yeah. Was that a throat clear burp?
It was just like I like inflated my own cheeks.
You
I think you were making me laugh.
You
at the
like
same
made
time.
a synthetic burp. But I mean, who cares about anything? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my god.
it's
Who
like,
cares
yeah,
about
I mean,
anything?
what's the point of life at
August
all?
is a hard month.
what's the
I'm
point
just
of
gonna
life
say.
in general? Like, why even do anything but play ball?
The world's on fire and we're stuck in our houses and we have no money and nothing's going well and all you do is play video games now.
Shannon's having a breakdown. Like,
I am this
live.
close. Earlier you were like, what's going on? I'm getting a Scoopy sense. And I was like, you are, but we're not talking about it right now. I'd already had a strong cocktail. Anyway, have you heard of Jacob's Ladder?
no,
Look it up really quick.
Jacob's
ahead.
Ladder.
So
That
Donnie
movie.
Darko, I feel like that's another movie that has a great cast. It stood out, which I have respect for that. Same with Birdman, same with Trainspotting. Those are movies that they're not like rom-coms, you know, they're very unique. But yeah, I don't know. I just remember the ending just being like, okay.
1990 thriller.
Okay.
Horror thriller movie. After returning home from the Vietnam War, this guy struggles to maintain his sanity, plagued by hallucinations and flashbacks.
Who's in it?
That's a great question. Tim Robbins, Elizabeth Pena, Danny Aiello.
Danny Trejo?
No.
I can't wait to like one day we're gonna meet Danny Trejo and be like, we're not even gonna explain this to you, but we're really big,
We're really
fans.
big fans.
We talk about you a lot on our podcast.
Ving Rhames.
I don't know who that is. Okay, I think we're going Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Burp. Ooh, The Departed versus Interstellar.
Oh, The Departed is a really good movie.
It is a good movie,
I
and it does
remember-
mess with you.
I remember I watched it for the first. I think you were like traveling a lot of the
I
time.
was out of town, and you were like, "I have a movie I want us to watch when you get
Yeah,
home."
and I like was on a kick of watching like classic movies. And
Which is not like, I feel like this is one of
Yeah.
those things. Like when I go out of town, you're like, "I'm gonna do things I normally wouldn't do," and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Cool."
I would
So you're
love
not
to
just
do
gonna
those
play
things
video
with you.
games for 12 hours.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. We can have that conversation another time. It's there's something like
No, I get it. Like if
Yeah.
you even leave the house for a few hours, I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna do this."
Yeah.
It's like, why? You could do that anyway.
like suddenly you feel like you're out of your routine.
Yeah.
And so like, and also like, even though like, especially currently when there's days that I stream for like 10 hours, you know? There's days that I stream forever and, you know, we interact every few hours briefly.
Yeah. When you need me to bring you water,
And,
you're gonna turn into Cartman.
Mom,
No.
no. But like, there's something about being home alone, and like, you've hardly ever done this. Maybe
I
that-
have been in this
Yeah.
house overnight by myself one
Yeah.
time, and it was 2 nights.
Yeah. There's something about being home alone for like several days in a row, where you start to like you're like, I haven't talked to anybody but the cats. I should probably like do
That counts.
something else.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know where we started with that.
So anyway, The Departed.
Oh, I watched The Departed. I watched The Departed by myself at home while you were traveling.
Were we still in the apartment?
Yeah, it was when I was in the loft. We were in the loft. That, and there were a couple other movies that I watched, but Departed's a good movie.
Another great cast.
Mm-hmm.
Great cast. And what I like about that movie is, because I always have a lot of like respect for movies and shows that as things are progressing, you have this like knee-jerk subconscious reaction where you're like, oh, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because this is just how it happens in sitcoms or rom-coms or whatever. And then in that moment, they're like, no, we're not doing that. And you're like, ooh, interesting. And The Departed is like full of that. You're like, he just died.
Yeah.
That guy just died. And then it like keeps going. And like, doesn't basically everybody die at the end of that movie?
Yeah, because that's the very end is the guy shows up.
With like, just like a tarp laying on the floor and he walks in and shoots him. Who is the last man standing?
Is it?
I think it's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo? I can't remember.
Or Matt Damon. No, Matt Damon's the last one to get killed. Damn, I can't remember. We should watch it again.
Matt Damon. But anyway, I think it's Matt Damon. I think Matt Damon's alive at the end.
All right.
I think he's the one that knocks on the door.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm not. I'm wrong.
But by then, you think the movie's done. And you're like, oh, okay, this is it. Let's see what Google
Spoiler
said.
warning for
anyone who hasn't seen this 25-year-old movie. In The Departed. Huh.
What?
I'm just kidding. I wanted to just like leave it there. I think it's Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, that's right. That it is Mark Wahlberg. It's not Matt Damon.
Yeah. The Departed ending sees 3 characters shot in quick succession with only Colin left standing.
Yeah.
So do you know that there is a chain called Wahlburger? And it's Mark Wahlberg and his brother.
Is it really?
It's literally called Wahlburger.
Nice.
I've had one time I was in Boston, and it's just like, it's your most like typical chain burger, but it is just kind of funny. You're like, there's a whole like franchise.
He's also a pretty good actor.
He's great.
Yeah, and because like he can do like stupid, silly roles, but also very serious stuff. The Departed's really good. Interstellar's really good in a way like let's make 2001: A Space Odyssey in the modern
It's hard to tackle time travel too.
Yeah.
And I feel like they did a really good job with it. Like, what's the movie? Is it Looper?
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where he starts asking questions and he's like,
don't ask questions.
And you can tell that the writers were just like, just make people accept it and just move on, which I thought was a really good way to handle it. But I feel like Interstellar, there was maybe a couple of points in the plot where I was like, oh, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
So, but like pretty quick.
Yeah. And Matthew McConaughey's great.
He is so good. I love him so much.
Did you watch? David sent it to us. Maybe we can pop it up. The Matthew McConaughey as Gandalf.
I didn't watch it just because there are times where David sends too many things at once, and I'm just like, ugh, later.
It's so funny.
Is it? Yeah. David's gonna be so. If he ever listens to this,
perfect.
he's gonna be like, I only send you funny things.
It's so perfect. Like it's just Matthew McConaughey. Okay. Yeah, like
as what?
As Gandalf. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, because like
the internet is full. Of
nonsense. That's like on. I feel like people don't really talk about
Gandalf. Oh my God, by the way, you, me, and David, our Instagram feeds are full of Lord of the Rings jokes. So we all of us keep getting the same stuff. It's so funny.
What's that other social media platform?
Not Threads. No one's talking about that.
No, nobody's talking about it.
Delete mine.
The one that comes out of China.
TikTok? Jesus.
Do people still talk about TikTok?
Yes. All the banned TikTok stuff, no one is interested.
Yeah.
People still love it.
I feel like that's that's a TikTok thing where like people will do impersonations but combos.
Yeah.
But anyway.
There's like some TikTok trend right now that I'm just like, I don't ever want to see.
I'm just glad a lot of the dances seem to have gone away.
Yeah, that was like the origin story of TikTok, I think. And now it's just either fear-mongering over China stealing data, which I think is probably true, to be honest.
Well, yeah, they probably already have it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like...
Well, like, Meta probably sells the data we have. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Interstellar's good. And... It's about aliens. Right?
Is it?
Don't they like that's how he time travels?
I guess. I feel like for a while it's not at all about time travel, really. It's more about like light years of travel. So time travel in a way. But the fact that he comes back must be an alien thing.
Then there's like this whole like
people who love this movie,
hate us
right
and
now.
they're like,
come on.
that's the whole thing is they get like the signal and like that's
Yes.
how he figures out. Like he learns. They show him how to communicate back.
I feel like I just remembered that, like,
or I guess like I guess it's not necessarily, because then at the end of the movie it shows like they have this big space station thing and like the technology's changed.
they're
and
growing stuff again.
It's like a
and-
very like,
Yeah.
you know, like we were given the technology, or like maybe it was a classic sci-fi thing, and like humanity reached the point where they could interact, so they were given the knowledge that they had been withholding, or whatever, you know, and like, or is it, I guess, like hypothetically, I don't know, is it a thing where, you know, Interstellar fans, let us know, is it a thing where like future, because I think that's what they said in the movie, it's like
You haven't said anything for a while. Just so you
super
know.
distant future humans had like evolved beyond a physical form, and they were directing humanity down the path to get to where they were.
Okay.
You know, it was like kind of a time travel cycle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not necessarily aliens in the traditional sense, but it was like
Right.
future.
Yeah.
us.
That's why when you said it was about aliens, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I just remember, and I could be remembering this wrong, but I feel like he finally makes it back to his daughter, and they do have like an emotional moment, and she's basically on her deathbed
Yeah.
with like her kids, her grandkids, and it's not like she's not happy to see him, but there is a little bit of like, you shouldn't stay. Great to see you, but like,
Yeah.
it's not good for me to be with you or for you to be here. Or
Yeah.
and I just remember feeling a little bit like, I'm sorry, what? Like after everything he just went through, you're gonna be weird about like where's he supposed to go? I need to watch it again,
Yeah.
but I feel like my memory of that was very just like,
This is a hard matchup because they're so.
is really hard.
They're so different. What's your gut instinct?
The Departed.
I was one thing. Gut instinct is an instant reaction, not something that you debate for.
I was trying to clear my mind
Oh, okay.
and then be like, which one?
Yeah. I think my gut instinct is Departed 2.
Okay. Sorry.
Departed
Interstellar.
2. I don't like the first one. Just kidding.
I was like, there is not a Departed 2.
You know, there should be.
There should be a gold man. Okay. The Bourne. This is stupid. I'm
Throw
sorry.
in a random
This
Bourne
is
movie?
really
Okay.
stupid. The Bourne Ultimatum.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It should be the Bourne Identity.
Born Identity's
The first one.
the first one. It's really. Yeah.
What's the second?
Supremacy?
Yes. And then Ultimatum is the third. And then there's like 4 more.
Yeah. Are there? Oh, no, well, because they go on the Jeremy Renner route.
Briefly.
Yeah.
Because
And then
Matt
he
Damon's
comes
around,
back and
too.
they do Jason Bourne or whatever the.
Mickey Rourke. The Wrestler. Never even heard of it.
I think the Bourne movies, the original
The
trilogy.
Bourne movies are great, but
They're
why
really
start
good.
with the third?
Maybe that's the most acclaimed one. I don't know.
Whatever.
But I do like those movies. I think they have
It's gonna be hard.
Okay.
Sorry.
We picked Bourne.
We picked Bourne. I'm sorry. Those are good movies. I do
Yeah.
like them. My dad loved those movies.
Yeah.
I always think about like there are certain moments across like movie history where it's just
Yeah.
like in one of the Harry Potter movies, they come to get Dumbledore, and his like phoenix like swoops in
Yeah.
and he does this like move
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
gone, and then one of the guys who pretends to like he works at the Ministry but he's on Dumbledore's
Yeah.
side is the like really cool black guy. He goes, oh, he's like dusting himself off and he goes, man, you can't deny Dumbledore's got style. And I'm like, those moments always remind me of my
Yeah.
dad because it's such a cute, just little like
Yeah.
moment. And I feel like the Bourne movies were like full of those
Yeah.
with the music and everything. Okay. Shawshank Redemption,
Okay.
Indiana Jones, The Temple of Doom.
I mean,
People hate the Temple of Doom. Dune?
the Temple of Doom.
Doom because of Billy or whatever.
Yeah.
She's constantly screaming.
Temple of Doom is the first one.
No. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders
is
of
the
the
first
Lost
one.
Ark is the first one.
This is the one where they go to India
Yeah.
and she has to
yeah.
shove her hands through.
In the-
Okay, actually, this feels
the
easy
spider-
suddenly.
the
That's not my
spider
favorite
hole.
Indiana Jones movie.
I don't like that one very much.
It's not the best.
Kali Maha. Like,
Raiders of the Lost Ark is
Yeah.
good because it felt very classic
yeah.
before Indiana Jones was like a thing.
Yeah.
But The Last Crusade's really good too, and it has Sean Connery. So this was my third choice.
Did the new one ever
I was
come
gonna say
out?
we need to watch the new one.
Is it out now?
Yeah.
Wow.
We
I
also
wonder if
need
it's
to
any
watch the
good.
new Mission Impossible movie. Okay, Shawshank Redemption gets my
Yeah,
vote. I love that
okay.
movie. Uh-oh. Speaking of...
Time travel?
Oh, that's actually not what I was going to say. I was going to say Capacitor.
Oh.
So, Back to the Future versus Terminator.
Two very different time travel movies.
Two very different time travel movies. Shit.
One.
They're both series, too. This is a good mashup.
Yeah. Which is the first Back to the Future?
It's the first both.
Okay.
It's the first both. Most smartest.
Man, the first Terminator movie is a classic.
Isn't there a big debate, though? Not a big debate, but aren't there a lot of people who are like, well, Terminator 2 is better?
Don't
Don't a lot of people say that?
oh, maybe.
Don't touch anything. Be careful.
Oh, James Cameron and Steven Spielberg. I was gonna say, is that the same? Like, I don't really have a reference for who either of those people are. Those names are interchangeable to me.
They can be, but I always
Yeah.
think Steven Spielberg, E.T., James Cameron, Titanic.
Yeah. Okay. James Cameron's a little bit more serious.
I think Steven Spielberg maybe makes a few more movies that lean like family.
Yeah.
Not family friendly, but, you know.
Yeah.
So does that sway your decision as far as like
No,
who the
no,
director is?
I was trying to wrap my head around it.
Dang.
The Terminator movies are good, but
Ooh. I did not expect this, but go on.
but I think Back to the Future is like, it's like a silly. It has like a kind of more comedy leaning plot, but like, I think that it's a better story and like it's better written and it's better like all the little things and all the other
And-
stuff. They play more with the idea of time travel. It's not just about like, oh, guy came back from the future.
Yeah.
You know,
And only because the technology,
Yeah.
although I guess that's the same, the technology then was strong enough to be able
Yeah.
to send him back. I also feel like Back to the Future did a good job of continuing with sequels in a way that didn't feel like milking
Yeah.
it. And I feel like
Yeah.
as a whole,
Well,
the Terminator franchise
yeah.
kind of has.
especially the way Back to the Future, the first one ends and the second one starts. It feels very much like
I forget.
they had a plan.
Okay.
Like and it's not like, you know, like they get dropped off on the street and then like Back to the Future 2 immediately Doc comes back down and lands. Like it's like, and they didn't like set anything up at the end of Back to the Future 1 really, but like it just feels like the continuation directly of a story, and like they kind of make reference and allude to some of the stuff that happened, and you know, it's all this stuff in the second one. The third one is where they go.
The first one, they
the
go
Wild
back to the
West.
80s. The second
Yeah.
one, they go forward.
The first one, they are in the 80s. And
Oh
they go
my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't appreciate Instagram and just online culture in general
Yeah.
pointing out if that movie were made now, they would go back
Yeah.
to the 90s. I'm like, yeah, thank you.
Well, it's been longer
Right?
now.
30 years, yes.
Like,
Jesus.
it's been longer from between now and when Back to the Future came out. I think has been a longer duration of time than when it came out to where they went back to.
Oh my God.
Right?
Well, I know it was like 30 years.
Can we fact check that?
They went from the 80s to the 50s. And then in the second one, they go 80s to the what? 30 years in the future. So.
And that date has passed long ago.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah. So it was.
And then they go back to the 1800s to the Old West.
The Old West. There's a picture I'm trying to open that would.
I feel like we're choosing Back to the Future here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was 1985, and they go back to 1955. So that was 30 years back.
I said this like 3
I'm confirming.
times.
I'm confirming. And
You've been
so
watching too much Newsroom, checking your facts.
30 years ago now,
I can fit under that fence. Wow. Sorry.
30 years ago now is 1993.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they went further back in time. Like that, we would have to go further back in time than they did to get back to when that movie came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
I feel like the different, and like maybe this is just my bias because I grew up in it, but like the difference between the 50s and the 80s is
Feels
so much
significant.
more significant than the difference between the 80s and now.
It's not. It feels that way,
Yeah.
but it's not.
I mean, I guess when you talk about technology and like computers and
Technology,
smartphones and all that
culture,
stuff,
like communication,
yeah.
values in general. Like, I don't know. Like, think about like,
And I
even,
guess
like,
maybe
the
because
gay community and culture, like it's even that element of society is so
I guess
incredibly
like
different.
Because we have reference for both.
Mm.
The 50s seems so much more alien to us
Yeah.
because it's twice removed. You know what I mean?
True.
Multiple
Yeah,
times
yeah.
removed. But
Anyway,
Back to the Future. I would pick Back to the Future.
really quick.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox
Yeah.
has this movie that I feel like no one knows about, and it's so underrated, and it's one of his like some of his best work.
Yeah.
Life with Mikey.
Okay.
He's like a child actor agent because he was like a child star.
Yeah.
And there's a whole other like plot line, but it's like this amazing like 80s, maybe early 90s movie. It's definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it. It's a good one. Okay.
Okay, we're down to second
Yeah.
round.
Inception versus The World's End. See, I have to vote for Inception because I don't know that movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark versus 12 Angry Men.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Hot Fuzz versus Donnie Darko.
I have to pick Hot Fuzz.
Me too.
I love that movie.
I love it. Shaun of the Dead's so good too. He's so cute.
Shaun of the Dead is really good. I never watched, like, there was like a weird alien one, and maybe that's at World's End.
Didn't they also do Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Wasn't that Simon Pegg?
No.
Isn't he in it?
No.
What were you
No,
starting
Martin
to
Freeman's
say?
in it.
That doesn't mean Simon Pegg isn't in it.
That's true, but I don't think he is. Bill Nighy's in that movie, which he's also in Hot Fuzz.
I'm just saying. And Shaun of the Dead.
And Shaun of the Dead.
Please let Simon Pegg be in this movie. You were trying to say something a second ago.
What was I starting to say?
I don't know. You didn't say it.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Stephen Fry's in this.
Yeah.
Did you say that? You didn't.
He's like the narrator. I don't think he's actually.
Oh,
yeah.
true. John Malkovich is in that. I never saw Being John Malkovich, and I feel like I'm missing out.
I like.
Alan Rickman.
Oh yeah, he's the robot.
Marvin.
He's Marvin. I like Hitchhiker's Guide. I read the whole series. Well, actually, I read half it, and then I listened to it on audiobooks.
Is this when you were doing lots of treadmill
This
time?
is when I was doing treadmill
Yeah.
stuff, and I would go down the treadmill for like an hour and a half a day and listen to audiobooks. And like those books get so absurd and ridiculous. Like there's like the first book's good, and like the first book is really like there's pretty short narratives that happen leading through the first like 2 or 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
And then like by the like last one, and I think at some point like the author's son or something is writing some of it, or like
I
you know,
remember
it's
you
not
telling me
necessarily-
that. Yeah.
and the same thing with Dune. Like there's a lot of like Brian Herbert versus Frank Herbert. But like by the later books, it's like they're on some weird planet where they worship cheese, and like
Oh my
there's
God.
factions of personal trainers at war with, you know, like it's just like it's so ridiculous. Did you just do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Okay, The Departed versus The Bourne Ultimatum.
The Departed.
Yeah, agreed. Shawshank Redemption versus Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
That's not an easy answer for me. Shawshank is such a good movie.
Yeah.
I feel like both have like stood the test of time. Like people still love both movies.
Yeah.
Explain yourself. Convince me.
Back to the Future is just
It's just a better movie.
it's just a better movie.
I don't think it's a better movie.
You're gonna go down to the Rochambeau.
Don't call it that.
Rochambeau.
I do want to watch JoJo again. Okay.
Caught in 4K.
Ready?
Actually, we're filming in 2K, so caught in 2K.
What?
Go on 3.
Yes.
Rock.
One, paper, scissors. Ooh. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. I knew
He
it.
wouldn't go scissors a third time, would he?
This happened on camera once. Okay.
But she thinks I would go scissors a third time. Or maybe she thinks that I know that she'll go scissors a third time.
Stop. Okay. I almost did scissors again, and I was like, he knows I'm going to do scissors again. Sucker.
You Rochambeau'd me.
Shawshank it is. Inception versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
We all know Back to the Future is a better movie. What? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Oh. Inception versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Inception. Inception's a better movie.
I think so too. Hot Fuzz versus The Departed. It's The Departed.
The Departed.
It's The Departed. You can't pick Hot Fuzz this time.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption versus The Place Beyond the Pines.
What the fuck is that?
I looked that up once because I was curious. It's got Bradley Cooper, Ryan Gosling, and Eva Mendes and Ray Liotta. I mean, it's a great cast, but like looking into it, it was kind of just like, no.
Okay, the other one.
Inception versus The Departed.
I think
I conviction, but I don't at the same time.
that's a tough one. I feel like if we like The Departed at this point in the bracket is at the point where any movie fan is going to be like, I can't believe you picked Inception over Departed.
But what if these movies came out at the same time?
Yeah.
Because part of it is the fact that The Departed has been a great movie for longer.
Yeah.
I think. And that's not really fair. Like, imagine they came out at the same time.
Yeah.
Although Leonardo DiCaprio is in both.
That's true. I mean, my personal preference is Inception.
Which do you think is the better movie?
What does that even mean?
We should have talked about that before we started the best movie bracket. I lean towards Inception too.
Yeah.
The sequel.
Where we figure out what happens.
Because
to the
here's why.
spinning top.
I'm gonna
Does
explain-
It really topple?
I have a reason.
Does the top topple?
Stop it. I have a reason. You're making me forget it. And
Okay. She has a reason.
yes, it does. Anyway, it does. It's like proven.
It wobbles, but does it?
He's also only wearing his wedding ring.
That's true.
And there's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Here's my reasoning for why I think Inception's a better movie. It's a complicated plot, and they don't lose you.
Yeah.
But not in a way that it's like dumb and you're like, that was easy to follow.
Yeah.
Like there's layers to it, and there's like literally there's layers to the plot, and I think they do such a good job of. Are you hearing? There's like it's like a raccoon noise. I keep hearing something. Anyway, lots of different characters, multiple plot lines, different like phases of reality. And when it's all over, you don't feel like you're lost or confused or whatever. So I feel like that contributes to it being a better movie.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that.
All right, cool. Inception versus Shawshank Redemption.
I'm going to let you make the call on that one.
But you want to do Inception.
I would lean towards Inception.
Me too.
Okay.
Ooh, we're back to the other side now.
No, now this is it.
Oh, that's true. The Prestige versus Inception, which is really hard given what I just said.
Yeah, because they do also have multiple layers. They kind of trick you and like lead you through.
You don't really know like what's happening when exactly.
The Prestige is more of like a magic trick, you know. And I guess like Inception technically is the whole plot is it's a magic trick that's happening. You know, like
right.
they're deceiving somebody into thinking something's happening.
Yeah.
Man, I think I have to go with The Prestige.
Me too. They're both such good movies.
I want to watch that movie again.
Let's watch it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just
especially the first time. It's a
the
movie I
first time,
wish
like,
I could watch
wish you
again.
could fully
for the first
forget
time.
it.
Yes,
because like
I wish they could
incept.
incept.
Yeah, I wish we could go to
What's the opposite of
Total
incept?
Recall.
No,
I hope I don't get a schizoid embolism.
the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Erase them.
Erase a movie experience. So I
God,
can
that
watch
would
it.
that would be so terrible.
Yeah. The whole concept, that's a great movie too, but the whole concept
Yeah.
is terrifying. I hope that is never a thing. Okay.
But yeah, the first time you watch The Prestige, you're like, what the fuck?
God, they really do like get you.
Like because it's the whole thing is set up like a magic trick, but it's to the next level. You know, like, and they add in some sort of entirely impossible element, but it's still being directed like a magic trick.
But like the level of commitment the characters were willing to go to.
Yeah.
Like Hugh Jackman was literally having like clones made of
Yeah.
him,self, and he was happy for them to die.
To make the movie, he did that.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman.
Oh my God, Hugh
himself.
Jackman's character. But and then Christian Bale.
I was getting ready for you to say like Hugh Jackman, like he starved himself for 3 days in a tank to
Talking
get
about
used
characters.
to.
No,
No,
I'm talking
like-
about the characters in the movie.
Yeah.
The level of commitment they were willing to go to beat each
Who's
other.
the other?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. That's
And he's a
right.
twin.
Yeah.
And one of them gets his like finger shot off, so the other one has
Yeah.
to literally like remove a finger.
Yeah, so that they match.
Yeah.
And then you find out that Hugh Jackman has literally figured out with help from David Bowie, Nikola
I was
Tesla.
just gonna say, here's why this movie wins.
Yeah.
David Bowie's in it.
David Bowie, Nikola Tesla.
So cool.
Teaches him how to clone himself.
Yeah.
And he's keeping clones of himself.
And he's cloning cats as he's testing his
Yeah.
thing, so you like him even more.
Yeah. But the whole premise of his trick is that one of him dies and he doesn't know which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like his whole clone, like, cause he's like, he says something about that in the sense that like, you know, you don't know, like when I do this, I don't know if I'm going to be the one that survives or not.
Right. But
Yeah.
he didn't kill one. He killed like dozens.
Well, yeah. Every
Okay,
time
when
he
you
does,
said one, I was like,
every time he does the trick,
Yeah.
you know, he's literally
there's a
killing
man in a box
copy
times
of
like
himself. Yeah.
who knows how many.
Yeah.
But that actually feels like a Total Recall thing where you're kind of like, hold on. What if he did die? Does the clone have the grudge?
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing is like he never knows
Yeah.
when he steps into the machine or whatever.
But he could have.
Yeah.
So him at the end who is like, you don't know? You
Right.
still don't know what knot you tied? And it's like, no, he doesn't because there's two of them.
Yeah.
That could be a clone
Yeah.
unless the grudge doesn't carry over to clones. Oh my God, your ears just perfectly did the thing. Okay. Prestige, best movie.
The best movie ever made was The
Of
Prestige.
this bracket selection, which apparently you
Starring-
can use this website to make your own. I'm tired. Good night.
Thanks for joining us this week. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back next week with we've totally screwed up. We're behind schedule. We're releasing episodes out of order now.
Yeah.
And who knows what will happen next week? It could be an episode that we happen to film, or maybe it'll be the secret episode. that
Or
we've
something
been-
else will have broken, like our car.
Or maybe something else will break, and we won't have, and we'll
Shannon's will.
be here. But that's all for this week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
I'm Will McAvoy. I've been watching The Newsroom. It's a
We
great
need like
show.
a newscaster. What's your newscaster like sign off?
That's literally like, good night.
How do you do a duo?
I think it's literally like,
The woman
I'm
just says
Shannon
her name.
Staten, and you say, and I'm Spencer Brownpern. Good night.
This is my show because
He's the man.
women are just accessories. I can say that because it's a total joke.
You're sleeping in your precious man cave tonight.
I can play Baldur's Gate 3
Oh
all
my
night.
God. Literally 2:00 in the morning.
My hair is getting all long. It's going to start like falling out and thinning. I'm going to look like Smeagol. Just please don't leave.